Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today's webinar, Hybrid IT, Bridging the Gap with Composable Infrastructure. With us today are Liam DeSanto, the Technical Account Executive at Summit Partners, and Paul Miller, VP of Converged Data Center Infrastructure Marketing at Hewitt-Packard. At the end of the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions of Liam or Paul. Please field those questions through the Q&A chat panel, and we will answer accordingly. With that, I will now pass this over to Liam DeSanto to get the presentation started.
Hi, this is Liam DeSanto with Summit Partners. Thanks for your time today, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us for this presentation of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise's Synergy solution. Just real quick before we get going, I just want to let you know a little bit about Summit Partners. We are a value-added reseller based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, with offices in Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. We have an office in the Denver Tech Center and in Salt Lake City. We are a boutique VAR that values the importance of our relationship with our customers. That's the most important thing for us. So we just want to make sure that you understand that if you have any questions or want any follow-up with either Summit or HPE, or more specifically around the Synergy platform, we're more than happy to make sure you get that information, because we believe that education about technology is the best way to make sure that you have the best technology available in your environment. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our presenter and allow him to speak about Synergy. And I'm turning it over to you, Paul. Thanks.
Great. Well, thank you, Liam, and thanks to Summit for allowing us to share our vision and our technology with this audience. What I'm going to talk about is our project around composable infrastructure and what we call product Synergy. Just a little context setting, we launched composable infrastructure and Synergy a year ago and have been working with approximately 100 early access customers to really understand how customers are using this new technology. What are the things that they want to do with this technology, and then where is this technology going? We are moving from the early access program into our volume ramp. So last week at HP's event in London, Discover, we announced the volume ramp of this product, opening the floodgates, if you will, to broad distribution of this product. And so I thought it'd be a really good time to share with you a little bit about composable infrastructure, our strategy, and then where do we see the industry going. A little bit about what we see and some of the dynamics of the industry. As you guys know, there's a huge explosion of new applications, which are kind of referenced at the right side of this chart. Developers are in control. Business is racing to use technology, use IT to bring new ideas to marketplace, right? It's called the idea economy by many, the digital transformation by others, as new applications being built on services and microservices, being built around containers, Docker, Mesosphere, Kubernetes, and a whole host of open source tools. And the pace of innovation, the pace of bringing things to marketplace is increasing in this space, and IT needs help and assistance to help develop and get a platform to enable fast development of tools, which can't be always developed in the public cloud, or when they are developed in the public cloud doesn't make sense to scale. On the left side of the chart here is the other problem. IT still dealing with years of legacy applications and what we call traditional IT. These are traditionally the applications which run the business. They're applications such as ERP, big databases. I'm based here in Houston, and one of our clients that I talk to is a large energy firm, a large energy extraction firm. And they are digitizing everything across their entire supply chain, from the oil rigs out in the oceans, through the pipelines, through the trucks that deliver oil, and the pipelines that deliver oil to the end consumer, be it a gas station or your home, for some of the natural gas type capabilities. And they are developing apps for their researchers. They're developing apps for end consumers. They're the sales teams to really help get that edge in the marketplace. But at the end of the day, the business still runs on some classic ERP applications, which are applications which help extract and do the refinery processes that track the shipments, and at the end of every month, every quarter, close the books. And so they're dealing with these two worlds. We see most customers dealing with the multiple applications and different models across the world. If you look at what Gartner and others say is, well, you need to have two separate operating models. You need to have two separate pieces of infrastructure, two separate processes. And at HP, we fundamentally believe that that's not sustainable in the marketplace. And that's why we started to develop and launch what we're calling composable infrastructure. And this chart represents a transition from different types of infrastructure and models, from the traditional siloed infrastructure where people buy best of breed from different vendors, and it's really managed by different management tools in silos. Convergence and converged infrastructure was introduced about 8 years ago as a concept where you brought together compute, storage, and fabric and managed it together as one, but still was fairly much a hardware-defined world. Hyperconverged came on the marketplace about 3 to 4 years ago and started to make software-defined implementations easier. So software-defining through virtualization and software-defined storage your environments. And we see those elements are all stepping stones to what we're calling composable infrastructure. We're just not virtualization and storage is software-defined, but you software-define every element. You make everything fluid, not only for virtualization apps, but for physical apps such as databases, for containerized apps. And then also you make this 100% programmable. And that's where we started to build out our vision and concept around what we're calling composable infrastructure. And how do you define a composable infrastructure? It's really around those elements I just talked about, right? At the base, fluid pools of resources, so the ability to have fluidity across your compute, your storage, and your fabric, to be able to dial these up and dial them down, to disaggregate them and reaggregate them as you want. Then wrap that with software-defined intelligence. So you software-defined everything. So everything is workload-driven, and every operation is no longer manual but automated. And then provide a single line of code to abstract everything so that a developer can come say, give me this piece of infrastructure. It needs to look like this for my application. And give them an API. Give IT an API so they can simply manage that. And what we launched earlier this year, was our Synergy. And as I mentioned, working with 100 early access customers. And really what Synergy was designed to do was to take our composable infrastructure and launch a product that really turned infrastructure into code. So we called it Your Infrastructure as Code. Focusing on reducing some problems, right? From deploying apps at cloud speed to reducing your CapEx and your overall expenditures, simplifying things that are in operating like updates, and then enabling your developers to access infrastructure as code and move applications faster. And we've been working with multiple customers, and for customers who were who attended Discover, you would have seen customers from Virgin Media, from Boeing, from Hudson Alpha, which I'll talk about here, from a company that does as a service provider for the medical community, provides them applications, EMIS in the UK, all stand up and talk about their experience around the Synergy offering. And there's videotapes up on the website, up on YouTube if you want to go look at them. Talk about their experiences. What I'd like to do is share, the architecture and then talk about the advantages of the architecture and how you can achieve them. So first off, what is Synergy and how is it built? Well, first, it's a set of architecture that can scale from nodes to racks to rows seamlessly. When you get the infrastructure, you power it up, it comes with all the software-defined intelligent management tools already embedded within it. So it powers up, ready to go. It self-discovers all the pieces of infrastructure, right? So if you add a component like a compute component, a storage component, it discovers and assembles that into the resource pool. There's an element that's based on our product OneView that is we call the OneView Composer that gives you a view of the resources as they're added or if a resource is taken away. Another key piece of technology I'm going to talk about is the image streamer. Within the architecture, there's a piece of technology that you can store all your images, right? So land any image that you need, the OS, the application itself, and store that as a golden image. And then through the composer, and I'll show you a little bit of demonstration of this, call that image out with the right pieces of infrastructure to stand up your infrastructure quickly and easily through a few clicks. It's one infrastructure, comes with compute, storage, and fabric, and you can configure it how you want at time of purchase, but then also reconfigure the compute, the storage, and the fabric dynamically within minutes to support different workloads. And again, it supports physical, virtualized, and containerized applications. So let me show you a little bit how Synergy works, and this is a little bit of a demo that we put together to visualize how Synergy works. So in that green box, think of all your applications that you have, or all your resources that you have in that Synergy frame. They're auto-discovered. The little things that look like spiders are processors and memory. The thing that looks like boxes hanging off a wire, that's your network, and the other box is your storage. Through the composer, you can go and have developed templates. And these templates take literally minutes to build. And the template defines for an application, let's say it's an SAP ERP application, it needs a 4-core processor with 10 gigs of memory and 2 terabytes of storage, and is very critical to my business, so I want to open up with a couple gigs of network. Go to the template, you select the template, which you define to your recipe. Then it goes to the image streamer, which I mentioned, and the image contains the OS, let's say it's running on Windows, and the application itself. So you use the template to assemble the hardware pieces you need, and then land the software. Since the infrastructure is stateless, it'll boot automatically and land on the infrastructure that's available. Through the composer, you see all the infrastructure. Synergy understands here's the best place to put this workload and automatically puts it there. Then, if you want to add another application, it simply does the same thing. Click on your mobile app. This is just showing a mobile app application that you're deploying on that infrastructure. Again, the recipe defines the right infrastructure required. Your image is stored for that mobile app in your image streamer, and boom, it goes. Through the image streamer now, you have this catalog of images that you can easily manage and have consistent deployment across your entire infrastructure and foundation. Next, if you want to take away that resource, you only needed that mobile app, let's say for a test dev, you use the same template to remove and disinstall the resources and have that resources freed up. And then you make that available for another application to be deployed, again, selecting the recipe for this application, and then you can use a template to extend this. So through software-defined templates that define the infrastructure that's required, as well as a technology that I talked about called the image streamer, within minutes, IT can deploy and compose the infrastructure, making it ready to deploy an application, very quickly and seamlessly, and then free up those resources when they're required. Now, one of the key things that this enables IT to do, and I'll use our own HP IT as an example, is really, not only speed, the ability to get applications to market faster in applications, but then also reduce the amount of overall infrastructure you need. When we look at the Synergy offering, it's cheaper than a typical rack offering because of a few things right out of the gate. First, because we have the management embedded into the system through the composer, you're not having to buy separate management nodes. So you have immediate savings there. The image streamer is your boot volume, so you don't have to keep on investing and building out, boot farms of servers for that case. And then because it has fabric embedded in there, no longer top-of-rack switches. So just on overall versus a rack system, the savings can be anywhere from 3 to up to 17%, depending on your configuration and the complexity of that. Now, what the real savings, though, is because you can dynamically compose and recompose easily, is a savings in over-provisioning. When I go to a data center, and we'll use this as an example, people go in and I tour the data center and they go, oh, these are my SQL servers over here. These are my web servers over here. These are my Exchange servers over here. And what you find is they're all over-provisioned. And HPE was doing the same thing. And what they're really looking for Synergy to do is how can I not over-provision every single application, but to get a shared pool of resources that I can quickly compose and recompose at will, so that instead of having over-provisioning for each application, I have one over-provision pool that I can pull from. And from our own TS organization has been working with multiple customers. Some of the things they're finding is, like, web servers are typically over-provisioned by more than 50%. Exchange servers, about 30%. SQL servers, sometimes up to 60%. And things like SharePoint may be over-provisioned by about 55%. So there's this massive problem of over-provisioning. Actually, Stanford University did a study about a year ago, 18 months ago now, that there are 10 million zombie servers. And the way to define a zombie server is a server that's been provisioned to run an application and a workload, but never utilized, right? Because it's been over-provisioned, it sits there idle. Well, that's a huge waste of resources and energy and space. So the idea with Synergy is to put all that into a shared pool, move your resources into that green box where you can consolidate and then have a lower utilization rate in the composable pool, that now instead of having everything over-provisioned, you reduce the capacity required. And some of the case studies we've had with customers in our own HPIT is that you can reduce the over-provisioning by about 30%. So you still are going to over-provision, but reduce your capacity now by 30%. So that's real savings to every application, every piece of infrastructure. It saves not only in the hardware, but reduce software licensing, reduce energy, and reduce footprint. So this is a key attribute that a lot of customers are looking for from Synergy. Next, I'd like to talk about the programmability. And again, through this API, we're enabling and working with a broad partner community to enable quickly adoption of Synergy and the ability to use the API to program it. And what you see is really three main use cases or classifications of the partnerships we have. One around automating the infrastructure through, using the API, and we have with Docker, for example, that's up on GitHub where you can download the integration all ready to go to stand up containers quickly and easily in a few clicks. So there are multiple tools and the partnerships we develop, from Ansible to SaltStack to Chef, that enable you to quickly deploy infrastructure. These are tools that a lot of the developers are using to build their application and can quickly integrate with the Synergy offering. From exchanging information and being able to scale and deliver automated infrastructure, if you will, a set of partners there from the classic partnerships we've had with Microsoft and VMware, to partners who do power and cooling, so automating the ability to understand the power and cooling requirements and changes through Eaton, Nile Software, Schneider Electric, etc., to companies who have written to our API. It's a public API. You make it available from the hardware side. So Arista is enabling, through Synergy, the ability to stand up and manage an Arista software-defined networking switch through our architecture. And then at the bottom, software tools that are enabled, from Ruby to Java, etc. So this platform is designed to be programmable, and we've been working to be of the tools and partnerships around there. So this enables the developers as well as IT to automate everything end-to-end, and gives the programmability. The infrastructure as code really brings that to life. So a little bit about, okay, what is all in a Synergy? It consists of this composable frame, and this is where the fabric runs throughout, right? And you can choose different elements of the fabric, whether you want to have it be for SAN environments, put in SAN technology. If it wants to be all software-defined networking, put that technology in there. So you can change the personalities that you want within this composable frame, but that brings up all the infrastructure. You can start simply with a single frame, which would be one box, down in the lower part of a rack. It's in scale today up to 5 racks of rows of servers, so multiple servers, and we'll continue to scale that as we grow. But this really enables you to start with very small, maybe 5 servers, and then scale to multiple servers and storage, all within the same infrastructure. On the left side, it comes with the Composer, which is the built-in management, and the image streamer. Those are typically configured to be redundant, so you never lose. Multiple different compute node sizes, multiple storage that you can put within the architecture, and then extend to a SAN architecture through our 3PAR and make that whole environment composable as well. So if you're a 3PAR customer and want to make it composable, that is easily achieved through this environment. Now, as I said, it's a fluid pool, so any resource can be accessed through the template across the pool and even into the SAN environment. You can have storage, let's say, in the lower right-hand rack that's accessed by a compute node in the upper right-hand rack, just because it's the right thing to do. The right bandwidth is available, the right performance characteristics, etc. So this is kind of a hardware view of Synergy and the overall elements that make up a Synergy that you can buy and configure when you purchase it. But then the magic is when you can dynamically reconfigure all the elements on the fly depending on your application. Let me talk about, Let me talk about one of the customers who's really been pushing the envelope with Synergy as an early access customer. This customer is really interesting too. That's what I like talking about. Hudson Alpha. What they are is a genomics research consortium. They're based out of Huntsville, Alabama, but they have researchers in various companies and universities around the world. And what they provide is a set of resources, both from the biotechnology side to the IT side, for these researchers to do the DNA decomposition and understanding of the human genome. Sometimes it's a doctor who's looking to diagnose something new, cancer research or whatever, right? And what they provide, not only from the smart side of this, is a set of technology resources. When they started off, like a lot of companies, they started off by putting things in the public cloud. But they were concerned about, some of the privacy issues as well as performance they were seeing. They became part of the Synergy Early Access Program, and the interesting story is there. We sent them a Synergy on a Monday. Tuesday, the engineers showed up from HPE to do the installation. The customer had already done the installation, was up and running, and had downloaded their applications and moved their applications from the public cloud into Synergy. And what they've seen is that the performance has been great, from doing things that used to take 4 hours down to less than an hour in minutes from doing the genomic research because of the improved latency they had. And how they're using Synergy, as I mentioned, is that they have these multiple researchers that want to run their algorithms. So they have multiple people who say, I need this to solve a problem for a specific genomic case, but I only need the access to the technology for, let's say, an hour, maybe 5 hours to run my algorithm. Hudson Alpha can give that specific researcher that access to those resources quickly through the programmable interface. The research runs their algorithm, and then they free up those resources for the next customer, the next researcher. So the whole pool is fluid. So this is probably an extreme case where you have an infrastructure that needs to, manage 50, maybe 100 different customers who are looking to, clients looking to run, access to this compute power. But it shows the flexibility and demonstrates that this thing can be a great DevOps environment, can be an environment that when you need to burst or have capacity from a shared pool like they're using, it really puts it through the paces, and is a great story not only from how they are able to reduce the analytics time, but then support more clients to help the greater good. So really great story, really great team at the Hudson Alpha organization. Peyton, leading the IT team, is a super speaker and resource for telling this story. Okay, so let's move into a little bit more. So Synergy, again, moving from the Early Access Program to volume availability in every region. The order today will be shipping within the normal order recovery time of about 2 weeks now to get a Synergy, ramped and built in the factory. So it's a really great platform. We're really excited about what it's doing to take us to the next level. But then, we weren't just sitting around waiting to understand to get to the volume business. We've been working, as I said, with these 100 beta customers, but then all early access customers, but then also continuing our innovation. And what we launched last week at Discover was the ability to build a public cloud or private cloud with hybrid capabilities on top of Synergy. So integrating HPE's Helium Cloud System 10 on top of Synergy to provide a cloud portal, that's integrated with the Synergy Composer and Image Streamer. So now you can have a public and private cloud portal that sits on top of Synergy, and we've married the catalog. So the engineering teams have glued the catalog that would sit within Cloud System 10 with the image streamer and the catalog of templates that I talked about within the Composer. Now, what this enables you to do is have one platform for both being a private cloud and traditional apps. It enables a cloud administrator to use that cloud portal to dynamically allocate all the resources in minute. As I'm going to talk about a little bit later, typically it enables you to also get the right infrastructure for the right workload. Provide support across an OpenStack, VMware, Azure, and AWS platform, and then achieve cloud services at a lower cost. So again, we've integrated the self-service catalog, automate the end-to-end application, virtual machines, bare metal, all on a single platform, totally integrated. You can become a multi-cloud platform. And this is a use case that many of our customers who are in the early access program are asking for, and that's why we developed it this way. They said, I want to run in my Synergy offering, my ERP applications just like I normally do. Right? I want to run my HR applications as I normally do, but I want also to build a private cloud, that over time I may want to start to move some of those applications in there. And they said, typically I have 3 silos in my organization. Now within Synergy, they're loading them all up on a single infrastructure and have the ability to quickly reallocate based on business needs or based on wanting to have a pathway to the cloud. So we're really excited about the reference architecture and the tools we're providing to take Synergy now and move it into that cloud environment, enabling quick deployment of cloud and this multi-use case. So all the other advantages of Synergy from the provisioning, et cetera, are all capable there as well. And through our Helium Cloud system, you can connect up into, bring the resources into a common view for AWS as well as Azure. Now, we understand that not all customers are immediately going to go to Synergy, so let's talk about the bridge to Synergy. And I'll use this diagram to kind of talk about how we're thinking about the bridge to Synergy. So with convergence, we started to simplify management with our HP OneView product, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Part of this bridge could be I would just want to have a great experience with virtualization environment. I'll talk about the Hyperconverged 380, and then the Synergy environment. So OneView is a great product. It automates the infrastructure end-to-end. It's actually the brains of a lot of what we have in our Synergy product. So the templates, not the image streamer, but the templates are available within Synergy to simplify the deployment of infrastructure, as well as the lifecycle management. And we've seen just tremendous growth and adoption of Synergy since it's been in the market for roughly 2 years. Over almost half a billion units sold and in deployment, and that number just keeps on growing. Great references. This is an automation engine. You'll hear customers talk about how they started, and now it's the foundation of everything they do. So this is also a bridge to Synergy because, again, once you learn OneView, you can start to easily adopt Synergy. The use, the capabilities of OneView are all embedded into our composable infrastructure. So if you have Reliance and 3PAR in your environment, quickly, easily deploy OneView 3.0 and start to get the automation capabilities and some of those characteristics into your existing environment. Another piece that I mentioned is hyperconverged and our hyperconverged offering. And what we started to do is to take some of the learnings from our composable and what customers are looking for and embed them into a virtualization environment. And we launched our hyperconverged software stack and upgrade to the 380 last week at Discover as well. And what this really does is provide customers with a single dashboard for their virtualization environments. It gives you a view of all your resources from a virtualization to operate at cloud efficiency. A generalist can install this, boot it up, and really be an internal service provider within a few hours to their clients. There's technologies inside that enable you to divide up for different workloads, so you can give different pools of resources, let's say to sales, to engineering, and have them have a self-service portal so that your lines of business can consume at cloud speed. So it's a really great product that's, again, on this pathway. We took our learnings from composability and made VMs composable so that a line of business or a developer can compose their own VMs and then put them back into the pool just like they want. Recently, CRN did a bake-off. And even before this new release, this was done on the previous release, really hailed HP as the innovation winner in this space versus competitors like SimpliVity, vRealize, built on other people's software stacks. That, our ease of use, deployment of virtual machines quickly, simply, reducing the operation costs, reducing costs, right? So we are continuing to evolve and take on this. Our hyperconverged 380 product has OneView embedded in it also. So you see this common theme of an automation engine that we are building in for common management and scalability, but for different use cases. Again, hyperconvergence for a small virtualization environment, and then Synergy for virtualization, containers, and bare metal. So we see OneView as this platform that enables customers to get advantage of the ecosystem today across a broad set of HP technologies, and then with Arista partner technologies, and leading to fully composable features as we go into the future. And just to kind of wrap up, this is just the beginning of where we're going. HP is going to continue to build out our composable infrastructure strategy and continue to add features into OneView. You'll see us bring new form factors of composability to marketplace, continuing on with our cloud system and the technologies around Helion to extend up into a cloud orchestration model, and then again the ecosystem. And the ecosystem is really key, we see, to building out the whole environment. With that, I'd like to thank you all for your attention, and we have time for some Q&A. So hopefully you enjoyed the presentation, took away something from it, and reach out to Summit, I think, to engage in a POC or a further technology demonstration or anything you've seen here. With that, turn it over for Q&As.
Great. Thanks so much, Paul. We do have a few questions here, so we'll go through. The first one is for you, Paul. How would you respond to your competitors characterizing HPE as having a proprietary stack of software and hardware?
So, in the reality today is everyone's doing a proprietary stack, right? Whether it's a software stack, I'm not pointing at anybody, but VMware, Microsoft, SAP, their software stacks are proprietary. Right? Everyone's doing something, all the hyperconverged. It's all proprietary. Why? There's value in the tight integration and coupling. Where I see customers saying is, give me a platform where to reduce my costs. My costs are not in the hardware as much, but it's in the integration of the software. It's in the software stacks that are not not addressed and automated, that are hard to deal with. Solve those problems. Those are my key problems that are prohibiting me from being a revenue generator for the business, taking true cost out of the business. And so we're focusing there. Our architecture through Synergy can be mixed and matched with other people's storage, etc. You won't see HP prioritizing that, but there's nothing prohibiting that. And again, an open system for VMware, Microsoft, Mesosphere, Docker, Kubernetes, Chef Puppet. That's where the cost is. That's where we're focused on reducing. It's a great question.
Thank you. Another question for you, Paul, as well. Does a smaller or medium-sized business have a chance to have a composable infrastructure, because it sounds like Synergy is out of their reach?
Yeah, so for customers who where Synergy may be out of reach, right, you can start with as little as 2 servers and some storage. So it does get pretty down to pretty low, but we would start them with and most customers who are smaller are probably mostly a virtualized environment. And that's where our hyperconverged 380 gives them a lot of the capabilities of composing, but at a much smaller starting point. So, and again, because everything is built on OneView, as they want to migrate up, can get to composability very easily.
Great. And last question for you as well, Paul. With the sale of the Helion OpenStack to SUSE, is HPE out of the cloud business?
The answer to that is absolutely not. What we did there was HP really invested to bring OpenStack from a science fair really to enterprise grade. Part of our partnership and what we want to do is partner with an open source company like SUSE, and we've done that to move core development of OpenStack to SUSE. Customers have told us, right? It was great. You guys had a lot of propeller heads, contributing to OpenStack. But what I really need you to do is focus on technologies that are going to help me deploy OpenStack easier and manage OpenStack easier. And so this was an important move for us to start to do that. And through our cloud system offering, Cloud System 10, which now sits on top of Synergy, we've integrated and spent a lot of time integrating OpenStack with our OneView management, with our cloud system management as a first step. And you'll see us move to how do I make OpenStack, Azure, etc., easier managed versus focused on being propeller heads that provide input to the OpenStack contribution. That said, we are still maintaining key contributors, and we'll do that as needed, but felt customers were actually asking us to do something then to, let's say, make a better, one of the components within OpenStack is Swift. Make Swift better. Don't make Swift better. Make it better to manage. Make it easier for me to deploy, and that's where we're focusing our resources. And you'll see it continue to accelerate that simplicity as we go into 2017.
Great questions. Thank you, everyone. So at this point, I'll pass this back to Liam for a quick review on Summit Partners.
Thanks. Yes, so this is Liam DeSanto again with Summit Partners, and I want to thank you, Paul, for a great presentation about Synergy today. And just remind everybody that's on the call that, Summit Partners, we're a boutique partner, right? We're not a big box store. We're all about building strong relationships with you so that way we understand your business and we can help advise you and educate you in regards to making your best technology decisions. Because we feel like if you understand what you're putting in your environment fully, then you're going to be able to make those decisions with confidence. And that's our approach to assisting our customers. With that, I'm going to say thank you and again, appreciate you for your time. Thanks.
Thank you to Liam and Paul for a very informative presentation. A recording of today's webinar will be provided via email. This concludes our webinar presentation. Thank you for joining us.